All right, let's now straight away go across to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Vladimir Putin. Their meeting, in fact, bilateral is starting. These are the visuals which are coming in of, the meeting and the delegates now going in for this bilateral between both the countries. 19th India-Russia Bilateral Summit, which is going to take place today in Delhi. Remember, President Putin has, landed yesterday. And many important, discussions are going to take place. These are the visuals. So just a short while back, when both the Prime Minister and the Russian President met at the Hyderabad house. In fact, this will be very interesting, not only on the defense part, where the S-400 is the highlight, but also about trade and the security situation in the Asia-Pacific region as well. All right. At this point of time, you can see these visuals. What are these visuals which are coming in from New Delhi, where the Prime Minister Modi, in fact, just met the Russian President, the customary handshake for the media contingent from both the countries. And there is a very, warm relationship, at least personally. Both the Prime Minister of India and Russian President enjoy a customary hug, which is usually known as Modi, Prime Minister Modi's style of diplomacy, also visible there. We'll get you more details on that. Now, after the centre announced
थोड़ा पीछे आ जा, प्लीज सर, दैट्स इट। पंकज थोड़ा पीछे। पंकज थोड़ा पीछे आ जा, प्लीज सर, दैट्स इट। पंकज थोड़ा पीछे।
So, the Prime Minister and Russian President Vladimir Putin starting in their bilateral talks. This was the customary, handshake between both the leaders for the media contingent, for a large media contingent from both the countries. And post this, there will be important discussions that are going to take place between both the leaders on the 19th India-Russia Bilateral Summit. Both the leaders will discuss regional security, defense, cooperation, terror threat and economic ties in the summit, and are likely to sign about 20 pacts. The key feature, as we have been telling you, would be the S-400 air defense system, which is all set to be inked at this summit. And India today has learned from sources that Prime Minister Modi and Putin will also discuss the issues of security challenges, particularly with Afghanistan and Pakistan region and the threat that emanates from Pakistan. Important discussions, there, and a very important, crucial point as far as balancing act between Russia, the two parts, Russia and America, goes with India. Gaurav Sawant, Executive Editor, India Today, joins us for more on this story. Gaurav, while the hugs and the handshake, the customary media beginning of this summit has taken place, but now the important task of ironing out any differences or creases between both these very important partners will take place behind those closed doors.
Oh, absolutely. And Ankit, it is very significant. The pictures tell a very significant story of India sending out a message. India and Russia both sending out a story to the world that this is a very, very crucial relationship as far as India is concerned, as far as Russia is concerned. Despite the threats of American sanction, India says it will go ahead with the S-400 deal, which, as far as the Indian Air Force is concerned, Ankit, you well know, will be a game changer in this entire region. So there is a very strong message that India is trying to send across to the world, that the only sanctions India accepts are sanctions of the United Nations and not country-specific sanctions, Ankit.
Gaurav, apart from this, this would also be a very crucial time for India and especially for the Prime Minister, under whose leadership there has been the proximity between America and India has already grown. It has built where it was left by the previous regime. That also shared a very good relationship between the Prime Minister Manmohan Singh and President Obama. Prime Minister Modi has only strengthened that further. At this point of time, it will be a very crucial balancing act that Prime Minister Modi possibly will have to take.
Ankit, in fact, that's the message that India has constantly been giving out to the United States. They're saying things to the effect that while India values its relationship with the United States of America and India wants that relationship to grow and to strengthen further, it cannot be at the cost of time-tested India-Russia relations. They've withstood the test of time. Russia has always stood by India in good times and in bad. And as far as the current deals are concerned, so one, this is a relationship that goes beyond military deals. But the 4 Crore-class frigates, the S-400 systems, they are required for India's security, and India expects America to understand that. So when U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo was in India, U.S. is also trying to strengthen India versus China, and there the S-400s are extremely crucial. Again, for maintaining sea lanes of communication, the Crore-class frigates are extremely important. So 2 of those frigates will come from Russia. The remaining 2 will be made in India at the Goa Shipyards Limited. So this is a very crucial meeting, and the pictures tell the story that India and Russia together want to send out to the entire world, Ankit.
Important, as Gaurav was saying, important meeting between both these leaders. Russia, remember, has been an important partner, a time-tested all-weather ally of India. But there has been certain changes in the current scenario as far as the world powers go. India's proximity with the United States has increased. On the other side, there is, of course, at the proximity between Russia and Pakistan. That would be a sign of worry as far as India is concerned. Foreign Affairs Editor Geeta Mohan also joins us at this moment. Geeta, with this personal camaraderie being displayed once again, both the leaders share, now would be the important task of sitting down and in fact talking straight on the issues of concern from both the sides.
Well, that's right. All issues of concern is also all issues of convergences between India and Russia are going to be taken up in the meeting that is to begin. It is going to begin with a restricted dialogue, a restricted format where Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Putin, which is what we're being told has already begun, the 2 of them are sitting across each other, and they will be talking about all sensitive issues that concern both the countries. Now, remember, Ankit, we have been saying this. For India, it is the big elephant in the room would be Pakistan and the defense cooperation of Russia with Pakistan. For the Russian administration, it is India's growing proximity to the United States of America. But also remember, there is a lot of balancing of ties and bold actions that India has taken with the signing of various defense deals that we will see in some time from now, despite the U.S. sanctions and no waivers from the United States of America. On the other hand, what we are looking at is, after the restricted format, there is going to be delegation level talks between the 2 countries, and in that delegation level talks, all issues from various ministries are going to come up, be discussed. They've already prepared and decided on what is going to happen between the 2 countries, but there are about 20 pacts that are going to be signed between the 2 countries. Particularly of importance are going to be the defense pacts between the 2, and S-400 certainly is going to top that list.
Let me go across to Gaurav as well at this point of time. Gaurav, this also comes at a time when there are concerns as far as the Indian establishment is concerned with Russia's growing proximity with Pakistan. How and what would be of primary importance for India to address that? Because there are certain points of difference in how India sees the role of Taliban in Afghanistan and how Russia is engaging Taliban at this point of time.
Russia initially did buy into the spiel that Pakistan was giving out, that Pakistan is also a victim of terror, and that is something that Russia tried to tell India. Russia does seek a role in Afghanistan in engaging with the Taliban, which is what India is saying, that whatever process happens, it has to be Afghan-led and not Pakistan-led. Again, the supply of some military hardware to Pakistan, of course, very basic at this stage, and also the training of some Pakistani officers in Russia has been a cause of concern. But look at the bigger picture. The volume of defense trade between India and Russia, Pakistan can never compare that. Pakistan can never come close to that. So that's the message that India is trying to tell Russia, that the world has to be united to expose Pakistan's state-sponsored terror. Pakistan cannot be seen as a victim of terror of its own making. So that is where India is pushing back. That is where India is insisting that things move forward. But as far as India-Russia relations are concerned, that meeting, that May meeting in Sochi, that informal summit between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Russian President Vladimir Putin, well, that was a big icebreaker, or that was a big way to take this relationship forward. The dinner that the two of them had yesterday and the restricted talks that they're having right now, all of that is to take this relationship leader to leader, diplomats to diplomats, and country to country forward. It's again a people-to-people contact or relationship that has stood the test of time. The aim is to take it to the next level now, Ankit.
That's right. And Geeta, if I can bring you in at this point of time for India, because there is, in fact, United States in the 2+2 talks as well, the S-400 and the sanctions, apart from the Iran and Russia, sanctions on oil, that also figured out one of the sticking points between India and United States. It would be for India at that point of time a new ally that we have found in United States, and trying to balance it with an old all-weather ally friend that we have in Russia.
Well, at the beginning of this administration, there were certain decisions that were taken, Ankit, which really did not go down well with the old allies. Now putting all our eggs in the American basket was one such a thing that New Delhi also realized was not the wisest decision, given that US is not an absolutely reliable partner. Look at the kind of questioning, look at the kind of statements coming from none other than President Trump on a very small trade items such as Harley Davidson. That's just about 80 bikes that we're talking about, and for that Donald Trump has been making fun of Prime Minister Modi, has been raising the issue at every forum against Prime Minister Modi. So a realization that there needs to be a balance that needs to be created between India and all its allies, and Russia certainly holds the status of special strategic partner, and that partnership we see India walking the talk, Ankit, by going ahead and signing those very important, crucial defense deals between the two countries, despite very harsh statements and stand taken by the United States of America. And we are looking at absolute close ties when it comes to defense and the kind of equipments and military equipments that we get from Russia. So yes, there was a shift, but there is we can't call it a reset, but certainly going back and realigning our own interests to and with countries that are important to us and important for us in the region. Russia is one such partner, and it has supported us on all fronts, whether if it is SCO membership, where China supported Pakistan, or for that matter India's bid at the UNSC and the NSG.
Geeta, stay on with me. And before I go to Gaurav, we have been in fact talking about the S-400 Triumph system, which is being called as a game-changing geopolitical defense system, which will in fact which will benefit India. And remember the condition that we are in, or the situation that we are in terms of both our borders with Pakistan and China. Let's take a very quick look at what this S-400 Triumph system is. Let's in fact tell you the salient features, the key features of this very important air defense system that we are going to get from Russia. Well, the strike range of the S-400 is 400 kilometers, covers entire Pakistan, also covers significant part of China as well. The radar range is about 600 kilometers for this lethal air defense system. Apart from that, in fact, when you look at the other features, the target speed is 4,800 kilometers per hour. The system also has an altitude which travels, the missiles travel at 30-kilometer altitude as well. Apart from this, the most important aspect is the very short time period that it requires to be deployed. It just takes 5 minutes to be deployed, and it is ready in action and can track about 100 airborne targets. So 100 different airborne targets can be tracked and targeted using this system. It can target the fighter planes, cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, and drones as well. So this is going to give a lot of boost to India's air defense. It has 4 different types of missiles that it uses to target various, targets in the air. And India will have to shell 39,000 crore rupees for this very lethal and potent air defense system that India, in fact, is going to buy from Russia. Gaurav Sawant with us. Let me go across to, in fact, Gaurav for more on this. Gaurav, just explain to our viewers strategically how important and how potent is this S-400 system. It is being called a game changer as far as Indian security is concerned.
So there is nothing like this system anywhere else in the world. And you know, when America was putting a lot of pressure on India not to go in for the S-400s, India said, so what's the alternative? Given the situation with Pakistan, given the situation with China, given the fact that India's fighter squadron strength is now down to 31 instead of the sanctioned 42, and the Americans had no response. So to strengthen our systems, our security, and you've just listed out the entire capabilities of the S-400. It's on trucks, it deploys within 5 minutes, it can take multiple targets. So what this system can do, the radars can spot the enemy aircraft or missile 600 kilometers away, and within 5 minutes target it 400 kilometers away. So the threat is neutralized way before it enters your territory. That's the capability of this system. It's a proven system. It's a tested system. Incidentally, China's also acquired a number of these systems from Russia.
Yes.
So China's already acquired the S-400s. India's acquiring 5 such systems, $5 billion worth, 39,000 crore worth. And apart from that, by the way, there are also 4 Krivac-class frigates that India hopes to acquire. 2 will come from Russia, 2 will be built here at the Goa shipyards. So protecting our sea lanes of communication, protecting our interests in the Indian Ocean region, and protecting our borders. All of that is being taken care of in this very, very crucial meet that's going on right behind me here at Hyderabad House, Ankit.
Right, Gaurav, stay on with me. And Geeta, as Gaurav was saying, that China already has bought this system from Russia. And China is also facing sanctions as far as the system is concerned from the United States because of that deal. Was that a warning shot for India, or after the 2+2 meeting, and then, of course, very important meeting of the NSA, Ajit Doval, with Secretary Mike Pompeo in United States, have all those fears been set aside?
Well, Ankit, there are 2 different aspects. Now, with China having a deal with Russia and the sanctions being imposed by the United States of America is very different from what India has been trying to do with Russia. This is a legacy item. India has already impressed upon the United States of America that the deal and an understanding and an intent to sign the deal was done way before the CAATSA was enacted, and also the sanctions then can't apply to India. So that's the word that India has put forth to the United States of America. Having said that, a very senior diplomat who I was speaking to said that in many ways what CAATSA really does is constricts various countries into buying from other countries and enhances and increases the market of United States of America and US's defense equipments. So in many ways what US is trying to do is through CAATSA increase its own its own space in the defense sphere in various countries, including India. But that does not take away from the fact that they are expensive, and India and Russia have already had this understanding long ago. So yes, while China faces those sanctions, they have their own understandings and arrangements between China and Russia, and India is also looking at such arrangements. The difference over here is that if it is going to be such huge multi-billion-dollar projects, then will a rupee-ruble arrangement really help in tiding over or in allowing them to make payments in those local currencies? We are also being told, we spoke to the Gazprom bank representative in India, where he said that RBI and their own regulator, which is Bank of Russia, are going to look into ways and means to ensure that payments really come through for India and Russia. So yes, if waivers do not come through for India by the United States of America, then they are going to look at all these options. But these options will stay, Ankit, even if the sanctions don't apply. And remember, like another very senior former diplomat said, the loss will be of United States of America if it riles India, which is a huge defense market for US as well.
That's right. That's the biggest trump card that India has, the defense deals and the kind of budget that we have for these defense deals, where India is the biggest market, one of the biggest market for both Russia and United States. At this point of time, Gaurav Sawant and Geeta, thank you so much for joining us with your perspective on this story. We will come back to you after a short while. Now, shifting focus, in fact, Jinnah controversy is back to haunt the Aligarh.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.